Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to go through lesson 0.10, write linear equations. If you have not watched lesson 0.9, you need that lesson to be able to do this one. Please remember, oh, I don't have this on full screen. Please remember our three linear forms. Yes. So we have three linear forms. Our first form is slope-intercept form. And if you can hear my cat, I'm sorry. He really wants to be in here. Our slope-intercept form is the form y equals mx plus b, which tells us m, our slope, and b, our y-intercept, hence the name slope-intercept. So that's one of our forms. Another form that we learned in lesson 09 is point slope form, which is the form y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1, which again, m here is your slope. But this time, we don't get the y-intercept. We are given x1 comma y1, which is a point on the graph. Point on the line. And then lastly, we have standard form, which is the form ax plus by is equal to c, which this form we can't really get anything out of it. It is more useful for real world examples. We can get the x and y intercepts. We have to do a little bit of algebra to get that. You can't just look at it and tell me what the slope is or what the y-intercept is or what a point on the line is with standard form. All right. So I'm going to say throughout this lesson, our best friend is really the slope-intercept form. This is like most popular in Algebra 1, most popular in your mathematics career so far. Slope-intercept is the best to me. Let's start with an example. Remember that the example images are available in the OMHS, right where you found this video. They should be right below it. Please email me if not, so you can get a copy of these images. There's only one for this lesson. So first example that we are going to do requires this graph. We are going to write the equation of the line in fully simplified slope-intercept form. So remember, looking at what we just wrote up top, slope-intercept form is the form y equals mx plus b. So in order to write an equation, I should have x and I should have y. Unless our equation is undefined, just straight up and down, we should have both x and y. If it's undefined, we'll only have x. We need to find our slope. We need to find m, and we need to find the y-intercept for this graph. So let's begin. I always begin, with the y-intercept. So what is the y-intercept of this graph? Looking at what I see along the y-axis, we cross here at, what is that, 2? So our y-intercept or our b value is 2. I also need to find the slope. or m. So m is always our slope, which is the rise over the run between any 2 points on our graph. So I already have our first point identified, and there are other points on this graph. I always want to start on the left and move to the right. So I'm going to choose a point to the right here. So I'll choose this point here. I'm going to start again on the left-hand side, and I want to count that rise over the run. So begin with the rise, and in this case, I'm going to have to rise down. So our rise is a -2 because I go down 2 units. So our rise is -2 because we go down 2 units. And then our run from this point where we are now, which is actually the origin, we're gonna have to run to the right 1, 2, 3 units. 1, 2, 3 is our run. And since we went to the right, it is a +3. So our rise is -2 because we went down, and our run is 3 because we went to the right. It's positive, and that can't simplify any further. So our slope is -2/3, which is our m value. So now I have our b value, I have where we begin, and I have that slope. I have the m value for our equation. So now I can put all the pieces back together in y equals mx plus b form. We said we'll have the y is equal to, and then our m, our slope, is -2/3. And then times x. Never forget your x. X is a part of it. It's needed. We multiply our slope times whatever x is, plus our b value of 2. And it is a +2. So +2. So the equation here is y equals -2/3 x plus 2. All right, example 2. What is the point slope form equation of the line that passes through, this is the point, -2, 4, and has a slope of 5/3. So this problem specifically asks us to find the point slope form equation, which point slope form, remember looking at the top of our notes, is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And here I'm going to need our m, I'm going to need that slope, and they tell us straight up m, or our slope, is 5/3. So m, or our slope, is 5/3. So where I see m in the equation, I will have 5/3. And then again, we should always have an x and a y. So I have the y minus whatever our y1 is, and that is equal to 5/3 times x minus whatever our x1 is. They give us the point that the line passes through, which is -2, 4. So my x1 is -2 and my y1 is equal to 4. So x1 is -2. Y1 is 4. So where I see y1 in the original equation, I'm going to put 4. And where I see x1 in the original equation, I am going to put -2. And I always like to substitute my values into parentheses. So that way my minus signs and my negatives don't get lost. And then I can clean this up a little bit. Y minus 4 is just y minus 4, which is equal to 5/3. X minus -2 is x plus 2. So this would be the equation for the line that passes through the point 2, or sorry, -2, 4, and it has a slope of 5/3. All right, next example, example number 3. Ah, come on. Kind of similar, but a little bit different here. Oh my gosh, where's my pen? What is the slope-intercept equation of the line that passes through -3, 6 and has a slope of 0. Remember that a line can have 4 types of slope. It can have positive, negative, 0 slope, which is a flat line. So this is a 0 slope. So if I'm looking, here's my x-axis, here's my y. This is a line that has a 0 slope. It's a flat line. So in order to do this, I know I'm going to write an equation that is y is equal to mx plus b. They tell us the slope, or our m value, is 0. They don't give us the y-intercept though. They give us this other point that it passes through. So I'm going to have y is equal to our slope of 0 times x plus whatever b is. And we don't know what that is. I do, however, know this point, -3, 6. This is an x value and a y value that works for this equation. It's true. It's a point on this line, so it should work here. So if I substitute in 6 for y and -3 for x, based on the ordered pair we are given, then we can solve for whatever b is. So I'm going to let y equal 6, and that is equal to 0 times x, and x is -3, plus b. Oops, I meant to switch. Now 0 times -3 is just 0. So I have 6 is equal to 0 plus b, and 0 plus b is just b. So this tells us then that b is 6. Our y-intercept is 6. So all together now, we know b is 6 and m is 0. So our equation is y is equal to 0x plus 6. Now 0 again times anything is just 0. So this really is the same thing as y is equal to 6. So whenever you have an equation with a 0 slope, is really going to be just y is equal to whatever number. So looking at this kind of example I have down below here that I moved from up top, if I'm looking at just this generic graph, maybe this would be y is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. So the problem we had with the 0 slope has a y-intercept of 6, and that makes sense because the other point on this line that we were given has a y-coordinate of 6. And this is a flat line going through all of the y values that have a height of 6. Now, if you have an undefined slope, you have a straight up and down line. It's undefined. this is like x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 2 instead of y. So these are horizontal and vertical lines. Last problem I want to look at, we are going to convert the following to slope-intercept form. And we are going to convert 15x plus 3y is equal to 21 to standard or slope-intercept form, which again, slope-intercept form is our fan favorite. Y is equal to mx plus b. The form we have right now, this is standard form. This is that ax plus by is equal to c. In order to turn this in to slope-intercept form, we need to solve for y. I need to get y all by itself. So to do this, I'm going to start by moving away the extras. 15x is a big extra, and I can just simply take that whole piece and move it over by subtracting 15x from both sides of my equal sign. Now, I can't really subtract 21 minus 15x, so we're just going to leave that as 21 minus 15x, and that is equal to, the 15x's will cancel, and we're left with just 3y. So 3y is equal to 21 minus 15x. And then to continue solving for y, I will undo this multiplication by dividing both sides by 3. So I'll divide the left by 3 and the entire right side by 3. So 3y divided by 3, the 3's cancel each other out. So we're left with y is at equal to 21 minus 15x divided by 3, I can take the 3 and essentially distribute it to the 21 and to the negative 15x. So this is like 21 divided by 3 minus 15x divided by 3. And really that's like plus negative 15x. So I'm just going to leave it as minus 15x here. Oops. So y is equal to 21 divided by 3 is 7. Minus 15x divided by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and then x. So y is equal to 7 minus 5x, which really this is the same thing as y is equal to negative 5x plus 7. I can flip the order, but make sure the sign that is with our slope, this negative 5x, it needs to stay negative. And if I graph 15x plus 3y equals 21, I would see that this is a graph that is going down from left to right because it has a negative slope. Please let me know what questions you have on this lesson. This is really one that takes practice. So if you're going through your practice problems and you're making mistakes here and there, that's okay. That's bound to happen. Please let me know if you're really struggling with this.